I just want to say a few words in English and Spanish. I think this is just another step in the continued growth of our relationship between our two countries. This MOU reflects that continued cooperation. In fact, as we were commenting in our meeting a moment ago, we've always had strong links between the United States and Paraguay. Those links have only grown stronger. And agreements like this and others that I hope will happen in the future will begin to create, real concrete progress, institutionalize the deep ties between our two countries moving forward, so that they're not just the product of one administration or one era, but they become enduring and can survive the shifts in political winds that happen in democracies and from time to time. But nonetheless, the underpinnings and the foundation remain firm and strong. And so I'm very proud to be a part of this today. I think it's a testament to that. En español lo que quiero decir es que obviamente la relación entre Estados Unidos y Paraguay siempre ha sido muy cercana, muy fuerte, pero lo que hemos visto en el último año y medio ha sido increíble. La relación entre ambos países ha crecido de manera histórica y a través de este entendimiento que tenemos hoy simplemente es evidencia de eso. Y lo que estamos buscando es crear una relación que no solamente siga creciendo, pero que sea parte de algo permanente, que no importa los cambios en gobierno que vienen, por ejemplo, en nuestro sistema, cada 4 o 8 años vemos cambios, pero que la base, la fundación de la relación entre los países pueda sobrevivir cualquier cambio político que exista en el futuro. Pero le puedo decir que nosotros, obviamente yo cuando era senador, me interesaba mucho la relación entre nuestro país y Paraguay, pero ahora como secretario de Estado se me hace más fácil todavía contribuir a este esfuerzo. Y si podemos lograr en el próximo año y medio lo que hemos logrado juntos en los últimos años y medio, que no solamente son temas bilaterales, sino temas regionales, creo que la relación entre Estados Unidos y Paraguay va a cambiar para siempre de una manera extraordinaria. Y hoy es evidencia de eso y un paso más en ese camino que yo creo que tenemos, esa meta que tenemos en común.
Well, really, I will start in English. Thank you so much, Marco, because we are working so close. Our strategic alliance is quite important for both countries. We are working on security, trade, investment. We are working not only at the level of bilateral cooperation on security. We are looking the whole map on the security, cooperating in our region, but also globally. That is that we share values and principles, freedom, democracy, human rights, rule of law, that allow us to work very close together. I would like to thank, through this agreement today, we are still deepening our cooperation. And thank you so much, Marco, because your work is quite hard for us. Agradezco enormemente la cooperación con Estados Unidos. La arquitectura de la política exterior de Estados Unidos bajo el liderazgo de Marco nos permite tener una visión compartida y construir en ese sentido las mejores relaciones en la historia entre Paraguay y Estados Unidos. Muchas gracias, Marco.
Okay.
Well, all signed.
Mr. Secretary, quick question. I'm sure you saw a Newsweek cover saying what Trump got right in Venezuela, and we want to know when can we expect elections in Venezuela?
It's a process. I mean, they have to happen. Obviously, there's a lot of work that has to happen to lay the groundwork for an election. As I said, you have to have true freedom of the press. You have to have multi-party participation. You have to have national reconciliation. And you have to have an electoral commission. has to happen, and it's a work in progress. But again, it's been about 6 months since Maduro was removed, and there's a lot going on at the same time with economics and so forth. So I think we're moving on two tracks. We want to improve the daily lives, help improve the daily lives of Venezuelans economically so that they're better off, they're more prosperous. I think that helps as well facilitate the political transition. And you also have to have a process where every element of political society in Venezuela has a role to play, not just in constructing elections, but constructing the governing future of the country. So I think it's going to require some persistence and a little bit of patience. Not years, but certainly months and weeks. It's going to take some time to get there. You're dealing with a system that's been in place now for almost 3 decades. So it's not going to be from one day to the next. If you look at the transitions in Eastern Europe after the fall of the Iron Curtain, if you look at Paraguay, a country that undertook a transition from authoritarianism to democracy, it took them almost 3.5 years to complete that process. These things are difficult. They don't happen. I know we are all used to instant results, or at least expectations of instant results. But if you want to do it right, what you want to have is a democratic transition that happens, that brings society together, where there's a national reconciliation, where you have political parties that are able to openly and freely participate, where you have an electoral count, but you also have an economy and a country whose institutions are functioning so that they're not inheriting a disaster, they're not inheriting a reconstruction process, they're inheriting a functional state. So all of that is to say that these things don't happen from one day to the next, but the needle's pointed in the right direction, and even though the progress is probably slower than all of us would want, there is progress, and progress will happen, and we're committed to it.
Secretary, can you speak about the latest on Iran and whether we're close to reaching a deal? We've seen the messaging from the Qataris about their mediation. How do you see the possibilities of a deal with Iran and with their talks?
Well, I think there's two things to talk about when there's a deal. There's the big deal, which is the one that has to do with their nuclear ambitions. They can never have a nuclear weapon. The president's been clear about that. So the denuclearization of Iran is the ultimate deal. I think the immediate deal, and the one that you're seeing a lot of focus on, is the Straits. The Straits, there are ships moving through the Straits. There's oil moving right now through the Straits. So the Straits are open. Nonetheless, I think that there's a conversation and a negotiation that we are involved in between Oman and Iran on how more ships can be able to go through there safely in the short term as we move towards these longer term talks about denuclearization. And suffice it to say, there's been progress made in those talks, but not finality yet. We're hoping that will happen very shortly.